Hello and welcome. As usual, we're starting right on time with absolutely no problems.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Will.
Yay!
We got our
Will's
Will
here.
back.
I'm
Right.
here.
And I'm
Armin's
here. So yeah, maybe let's start with that. Let's start with names. So my name is Armin. I'm a Notch artist and a lead trainer here at Notch. And I'm actually joined today by two of my colleagues, by Will and Ryan. Will, why don't you say a couple of things about yourself?
Hi, I'm Will. I am I manage the art team for Notch. I've been here for a few years now, which is good fun. So we put out all the template art tools and stuff. Over to you, Ryan.
I'm Ryan. I sort of work on I work in the product specialist team, and I do a lot of the testing and support. You'll see me on the forums and on the support channels, and occasionally in Facebook as well. So I work closely with both of these people to make sure that everything looks good and works well.
I presume one day we will be something like Top Gear of the motion graphics when we find this right balance. Okay, the thing we're going to talk about today is obviously patch release that we've had just yesterday, and it came straight after the NVIDIA's keynote. Lots of new stuff announced, especially on the AI side with machine learning and all that good stuff. The perfect thing for us is that a lot of this research actually feeds back to graphics technology and SDKs that we as Notch can access. Notch is NVIDIA's technology partner, and we had early access to these new SDKs. So we revealed some stuff and we're working on more. However, we cannot talk about all of that just yet, but there's more to come. So that's fun. Right, so previously we had already integrated a GPU accelerated face tracker, and now we followed up with the body tracker and the background remover. And that's literally what we're gonna focus mostly on today in this stream. However, there's a couple of extra things that came into this patch release. So in addition to NVIDIA specific new features, the latest patch update of Notch also features some improvements and bug fixes. So before we jump on and talk more about NVIDIA stuff, I'll just mention a couple of things that perhaps will be good for you guys to know or to check out. I think Ryan can plug up a whole list of bug fixes and enhancements to the chat. Can you not?
I'm sure. We've got the release notes just here.
So specifically, there are some improvements to Connect 4 users. So if you're a Connect 4 user, you'll be happy to see that there's some good stuff waiting for you there. Now, it's much easier to use FBX rigs from places like Mixamo. So that's a big benefit for me because I love Mixamo, and we probably will come back and talk about that a little bit more as we progress. There is an ability now to skip the dialog asking for approval to transcode videos on import. Community favorite. You've talked about it, we've heard it, it's there. There's a couple of fixes on a LiDAR side when you're using multiple LiDARs. So for people who are working with interactive installs and LiDARs, that probably will be very handy too. I don't want to spend too much time talking about this. So just go ahead, check the list, see what's out there. Hopefully it resolves a couple of issues that you had or a couple of things that you suggested as it would be nice to have. And then off with the show. So maybe let's start with the background remover. But before we actually talk about the background remover, however, I think I'm going to just switch through and show the background remover in action. Before we actually talk about this, I think it's worth to mention how do you go about installing this? Because obviously just installing Notch is not enough. You need to install the NVIDIA's SDKs too. So Ryan will drop a couple of links to the chat. I'll just quickly mention that the best place as is at the given moment to get the correct SDKs is via our manual. So we have NVIDIA Body Tracker manual entry, and there's two options, the 20th series and 30th series. Depending on what GPU you're using, you will choose one or the other to download. And the very same thing is happening with the virtual background. So just make sure to grab the correct SDK and install it. Now, why would you go about installing it from Notch manual at this given point, not from NVIDIA's website? Well, NVIDIA is still sorting out downloads per region. So basically, they will take a couple of days to make sure that it's the best download and upload speed that they can offer from their own side. While they are doing that, we have the direct links in our own manual. So if you want to check it out now and give it a spin, head there, grab those SDKs, install the new Notch build, and you are good to go. Right, so, well, this is it. This is the NVIDIA's background remover. As you see, there's 3 iterations of the picture here. So we have a full design, and then we have the actual raw footage in the top left corner, and then we have the actual mask, so the very thing that NVIDIA background remover generates. And this is rather a complex setup, so I'm going to show you how to set it up from scratch. So let me just make a new layer. Let me bring in a guitarist. So this will be our proxy video. We're going to use this. And if you want to output this with the NVIDIA background remover, all you have to do is grab an image 2D or image plane, depending on what kind of a scene you're building. Pipe in that very video that you want to use, and then make an extra line, let's say using a video null. That would feed directly to the, there we go, alpha image. So alpha image input is the thing that works with NVIDIA's virtual background. And then it's just as easy as connecting the video null with the NVIDIA's virtual background. There you are, job's done.
That's what I love about this. It's so easy to do, isn't it? You just literally drop it onto the video null and job done. Pipe it into the alpha and it's brilliant.
I'm going to make a little background here while you guys are talking about this. Let's add a grid.
It's one of those, it just makes your whole life so much easier. It's just one node and there's your key.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about your backgrounds. You don't have to worry about setting up green screens and things like that. It's just one node.
Yeah.
You get a pretty good effect.
And the other thing here is it's such a complex scene and it's picking out that guy so well. Like you've got all his hands, you've got most of the guitar some of the time, you've got his face and his whole body, and it just does such a good job on it.
I think it's worth to mention that this was by NVIDIA. This was created for webcams and such, but as you see, it actually works with the performance videos as well. Now, in this case, I just want to build something rather simple so we see things better, and we can discuss this a little bit further. There we go. Right, so the actual use of NVIDIA virtual background is just applying it on a video null or on a video source that goes directly to the alpha image. And in the node, you have 2 options: best quality and fast performance. Depending on what you're building, depending on how complex your scene is, you would choose one or the other. I can vouch that best quality, slower, is not that slow at all. If you see,
it's not noticeable, is it?
No, not really.
I've not used anything else. So best quality all the way.
In my scene is oscillating above 200 FPS as a baseline, so I think it's pretty neat.
Yeah.
So why for instance I am so excited about this? Well, basically this was a prime request from a lot of showrunners when you do visuals or IMAX for performers. They would say, this is an amazing design, I love all the glitchiness, I love all the weirdness, but can we keep the artist face clean? And then you would have to go and you would have to go crazy basically trying to fulfill that task. Well, now it's literally done for you, so it couldn't be easier than what it is here.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like we were using the face tracker to do it beforehand, and that works just as well, but only for the face. Now you can do it exactly the same process, but just for the body. It's so great.
Yeah, so I definitely see this being applicable for live concerts, for some of the broadcasts, definitely for streaming, because there's a lot of people in the community who are actually switched to streaming as a source of entertainment, as a source of inspiration. So a lot of people are working in that space. So this right here helps so much. You don't need green screen. All you need is a webcam or a cam.
I was going to say that I've used a lot of green screen, which is literally a sheet pinned behind me, and it works. It works really well, especially with the Kia. But it's just setting up that green screen could be so awkward, and this is just so much easier. I'm like digging through my old projects, trying to getting them working again with this, and it just works straight away. Take out the chroma Kia, no background. There you go. It's working brilliantly.
I think it's
first time.
Exactly. I think it's worthy to mention, and NVIDIA was persistent about it. This SDK is still in beta version, so we can expect this to become better as it progresses. But as is now, it's beta. So I just feel like I should mention that. Sorry.
So I was just going to say, even at in a beta release, it's still perfectly usable for a lot of different things.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And we're going to go through a couple of samples where you make some abstract art around it, so it kind of hides the imperfections if there should be some. So I'm going to switch back to the more elaborate setup so we actually see all three things side by side. And while we're on this, I'm going to mention one gotcha that is rather important to discuss from the get-go, which is it tracks one person at a time with the current SDK. So just keep that in mind. You would be able to catch several, but it's focused on one person. Just keep that in mind when you're working on your designs.
I think they're working on a multi-person one, are they not?
Yeah.
Or it may
we'll have to see what the future brings. So how would this be applicable in a concert environment? I actually took a liberty to play around with this a little bit. So we have this feed here. I have a video source and it's feeding to the image 2D. That's literally what we built so far. And here in the top, we have the very same image 2D replicated. So basically I have two chains, one with just our hero shot and one with the background. So how does this become interesting and how does it enhance the live show? Well, basically, you can start adding post effects just to the background. And I, for one, spend a little bit too much time playing around with this already, and I'm not sure when I'm gonna stop. This is such a time sink. It's fantastic. Like, you can add any sort of crazy stuff you want in the background, so it still feels that artist is grounded on that stage or that space, but all of a sudden he's there in the forefront. So this is very simple examples, but I think you good people understand where I'm going with this. This is definitely something worth of a weekend investment. Where does this become even more interesting? Well, I tried a couple of things with the particles. So far, making sure that a particle effect is sticking either specifically on the person or avoiding the person completely was really, really complex. However, now with the NVIDIA virtual background remover, it's as easy as plugging it in as an alpha image to the video null that is being fed in the first input of the video null. Actually, you know what? We have time. Why don't I just build this from scratch and then we go point by point? Gentlemen, would you agree that that's a good way to go forward?
As Matt said, we're just waiting for you to use vector blur.
You're so yesterday. I already did. Check this out. Vector blur.
Yeah.
You're welcome, community. It was a hard fight between me and the developers, and on my 30th birthday, I was granted vector blur as a feature. Yep, that happened.
4 more years for me. So I think I'm a good request.
All right, back on track. So how do you set up a video processing effect based on particles with enhancements that NVIDIA Background Remover offers? First of all, obviously, you need a particle root because that's a starting point for any particle system. Then you need an emitter of sorts. In this case, we're going to go for image emitter. We want to see our particles, so point render is a good call. And now as a first step, we would just connect a video loader straight to the first input video node. It's there, it's working. It needs a couple of more nodes and a couple of tweaks. So first of all, I'm going to make an extra pipe now for the optical flow. And optical flow allows you to stick those particles on the motion of the character in scene. So let's do that. Optical flow. Another line, go straight to the second input. Yep, particles are sticking. However, optical flow doesn't necessarily require an HD signal, and in this case we have an HD signal here. So to save a bit of compute, we can add a down sampler in between. So I'm going to do exactly that. And there we are. This is our regular IMAG, or regular particle effect that we were building for several years now, or for however long you are using Notch. So how do we make this a little bit more exciting? Well, this is where it's smart to add a video null. Pipe it through between a video loader and the actual input for the video node. And here we can make a extra separate little branch with a background remover. So I'm gonna grab yet another null, pipe it through. Let's just make a preview of it. There's our background remover. Background remover is doing its job, it's generating black and white mask, and we can apply this mask now to the alpha image of the null that is going to the image emitter. There we are. Particles are only on the person, only on the hero. Now, should you want to do the exact opposite, which is quite likely, we have this brilliant little node called invert. So if you don't want any particles on a person, you can have it. If you want particles just on a person, that's an option too. And that applies across the board. Cloners, fields, procedurals, you name it. Anything goes. To my exploration so far, post effects and this inverse or straight up connection to particle systems is something that I, for one, really, really enjoy. So I'm going to switch back to this pre-made sample. I don't have that. I just deleted it. Anyways, you get the gist. I'm going to re-invert it back. Maybe make these particle sprites a little bit more interesting. And I'm going to ask my colleagues if there is a question or a comment in a chat room that needs addressing or talking about.
Not right now. One person is asking if it can track cats, but I don't think
I
mine
saw
would
that
be
one.
willing to help.
I think it does, doesn't it?
I suppose in the future it's possible with the correct training database that has cats. That's likely an option. But
just
as
try
Matt
it.
says, it'll look like cats that look. It'll
it's
function
balanced.
on cats that look like people.
It's
So I think
balanced for
that will
people
be
now.
your safety.
Yes, it's balanced for people as is.
Yeah.
Although I would love to have some kind of a thing that would allow to track cats. That's actually a good shout. That would be funny.
I'd like to see you get a cat on camera and try and get it to stay there. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I have a point there.
Mine is sleeping in another room, and I don't dare to bug it and test it.
Go and get it. We could do.
Oh, if you want me
No.
to.
There's a question. If I made a block with this feature, the media server operator needs to install the NVIDIA SDK. Yes, absolutely. Obviously, SDK needs to follow the machine that is being ran on. So just keep that in mind. Should you use a media server, any type of media server that Notch integrates with, these SDKs will be necessary. Do check out the manual entries about both of the SDKs. I think Ryan can easily just ping the links back to the chat and you will see the write-up there. Okay, this is getting out of hand.
There's a DLL you need to get to add as well.
Yeah, as mentioned, do check out the manual entry. Should be all there. And the cat bit of all this is getting out of hand, actually. So let's see what else we have. Well, basically, this is it. This is more about exploring different types of footage. I, in my personal time, just streamed from YouTube some of the concerts, and I wanted to see how it behaves. It works charming. Unfortunately, because of the copyright reasons, I cannot really plug up a Metallica feed or Muse feed for us to check out how it works in a live performance environment. So I would trust that you actually do that yourself, but it definitely works. One interesting thing...
I mean, there's loads of different ways to do it. Like, I set up this fractal noise behind me using it.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I think...
That's awesome.
I think I actually can make you
Will.
big, Ryan. I don't know if we're going to have sound, but we can make a Ryan big.
Yep.
And I can put myself on the TV next to myself. I'm going to... Here you go.
Hey, there we are. There we are.
And look at that, my hands are in front of the TV. Magic.
An interesting thing to probably show would be how would this actually work with a full body shot. So I have this footage of a handsome fella that we will use as a model.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
I feel like I know that guy.
Yeah, there we go. It actually works with the full body. Obviously, there might be a little bit of discrepancies towards the feed, but that's because the footage that I have here is, well, it's not perfectly lit on the feeds, is it? But there we are. It's the full body of the human being tracked. I've tried it out with the guitars too. The only thing that might happen, you might lose a neck of the guitar, but then the art director is probably not that keen on the guitar, he's keen on the face. So as long as you focus on that, that's the winning combo right there.
Yeah.
Wait, are you guys using the background removal on your camera feeds? Inception, Scott?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, 100%. As you already probably know, Notch supports direct streaming to various platforms. You can actually go to Zoom call with the Notch background or Notch scene. You can go to Twitch, so on and so forth. So this is literally what guys are doing now. Oh, look at Will. Look at Will
You can
flying.
fly a plane. I'm just going to fly my plane here. Hello.
It looks so much fun.
It's brilliant. I've always
I
wanted to
steal
fly,
that model
and
from
now
you.
I
It
can.
looks so much fun.
I am actually live streaming from a plane. It's a new flying node we have.
Yeah, this is the real background. Everything else was fake.
So, question came in. How do you refine the cutout? Well, there are only two options in the node that we can offer at the moment. Again, this is an SDK integration, so NVIDIA is enhancing. Probably there's going to be more options as it progresses. But now it's best quality slow, fast performance slower. So basically, this is as refined as you can get at the given moment. However, you can use some creative post effects to further enhance it. For instance, if I want this to be smoother, I could easily grab something like a blur, give it quite a few iterations, and all of a sudden this reads much better. If you want this sharper, something like edge detect, I presume, would work. Sharpen, yeah, a combo of those.
Sorry, go on.
No, please.
I was going to say, if you like, one thing I'll tend to do in loads of different areas, if there's too much noise, just add frame feedback and blur things over a number of frames. Easy way to clear up noise.
Yeah. So you just need to be a little bit more creative with the post effects. While we're on the subject of this, I will just quickly mention that if you fire up Notch, there is a templates page. In the templates page, you will have this setup available for you. So there's NVIDIA AI virtual background template available. And if you are opening a new Notch scene, you will have not only templates, but samples available too. So in samples, there is very similar sample to this one. It's just it's a little bit reduced in capacity. It doesn't have videos in the background. It has interchanging pictures just because we want to keep the download quite small, and adding 500 megabytes of video files to a Notch build is not a good idea.
No. Our devs would not like that.
We
would love to do it, but...
Is it possible to limit NVIDIA body tracking only to the upper body? Well, I presume if you set a creative mask with a composite, why wouldn't it be? Well, let's try that.
I think he is referring to skeletons there, but feel free to...
Oh, body tracking. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
1-0, Ryan.
We can come back to that one later when we dive into the skeleton tracking.
I think we're gonna switch through to skeleton quite soon. If there's no questions about this, and I think this is this is an interesting stream for us because it required very little preparation, and it's more of a interacting with you, good people, because it's so that simple to use these features. You just plug it up and you go. So in my perfect world, in my perfect scenario, you ask questions and we elaborate on them. We come up with a couple of interesting ways of how to use this new technology in the space that we all find ourselves. And majority of us are probably in entertainment.
Yeah, we've roped Will into this, so it's a perfect time to get any questions you want answered.
Shadow Catcher works too. Well,
yeah, I mean, it depends what you mean by shadow catcher. The shadow catcher material is just for catching shadows on the ground. So if you set this up so that it was casting shadows using like an alpha image or something like that, or an image plane, which was then casting shadows, then sure. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure what you're referring to there.
Well, I think maybe it's a good time to go for the 3D stuff.
Yeah, let's get more fun.
I would have thought you'd been able to cast shadows with this. I'm not actually testing it, but
it's just, I mean, as was previously stated in the chat, it is just outputting a mask. So anywhere else you'd use a mask, there you go. You got a mask.
Oh man, look at that. We have a guest, Gerardo. I hope I'm pronouncing the name right. I'm terribly sorry if I'm not. Gerardo worked on it. So we actually have an NVIDIA team member talking to us who actually was hands-on with this SDK. If there's a question,
Excellent.
now it's a good place and a good time to ask.
And let's see. There we go. Okay.
So I'm going to save this up and I'm going to open a new Notch instance. And for this bit, I think we can easily stick around with the samples and templates because it's just all there. Why wouldn't we? So I think we're going to start with the simple thing. So template. So I'm going to load up the template. And let's just talk about the setup first. Yeah, Valve Media, 100%. This is going to open a whole new layer of IMAG effects. Yes, indeed. Obviously, we were all a little bit stuck at home for a while because of the current world that we live in. And I am certain that we are all eager to get back on the road. And once we're back on the road, an option to offer something new to our artists, our directors, to our teams is so very valuable. It's so nice. Yeah. That's why I think I'm even more excited about background remover than 3D skeleton, even though 3D skeleton looks extremely cool. Yeah. But it's just since I come from that background, from that world, background remover is ace.
Yep.
Right. I mean, they're not exclusive either. You can still use both.
Huh?
They're not exclusive either. You can still use both.
Hold the phone. All is to come. I'm sure there will be some exciting R&Ds. I actually quite look forward to see what the community comes up with. I already saw some stuff popping up on Instagram and Twitter. The more the merrier. Hashtag made with Notch. Create responsibly. Just do it. Okay. So this scene right here. Again, since we didn't want to add a huge file to a download, it's using a couple of stills. So he's just another handsome fella turning around, and that handsome fella is then driving the NVIDIA body tracker, and that NVIDIA body tracker is driving NVAR tracker skeleton. So how does this rig? I'm going to go step by step. First of all, you pipe in a video signal to the body tracker, and on the body tracker you have several properties that allows you to reference field of view, reference the distance. In my case, I left them all at default. You might have a good reason to change the
parameters.
Right there. Thank you. Yes, change the parameters depending on your setup. So this is all there for you to be able to alter things. So how does it plug further? Well, then it all goes to the NVIDIA AR body tracking node or body tracker skeleton as a first input. And then any 3D scene that you brought in from internet, anything that has skeleton, then goes in as a second input hierarchy root. So in prior setups, you would actually need to connect the hips, and that would be the way how Notch would recognize that this is the skeleton to refer to. Actually now, ever since this build came out, you can literally just plug in the imported 3D scene, and Notch knows what's up, and you're good to go. Again, that's the full extent of complexity of rigging this thing up.
Yeah, it's basically the same as the Connect ones, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very easy.
I'm gonna give a shout to a little page that is hosted and run by Adobe, and it's called Mixamo. It used to be a thing of its own, but then it was bought up by Adobe, and I'm very happy and I'm very pleased that Adobe didn't deprecate it. It's still there. It's catering for the community. So if you're looking for a bone rig, in the Mixamo you can find a lot of characters to choose from. There's a ton already preloaded. And you even have reference animations should you want to use animations instead of setting up something live as we're doing here. But the goodies does not stop with this. You can actually upload your own characters. If you have a depositioned static OBJ file or FBX file, you can drop it in, point out the main bone points, and it will rig up a bone structured character for you in a matter of less than a minute. And then you're good to go. So this character right here was purchased from one of the online shops. Which shop did we buy this from?
I think we bought this on TurboSquid.
Right, so this was bought in TurboSquid.
And the original, the original rig didn't work at all. for this, so we brought it into Mixamo, and it's so easy to use.
Yeah, we just deleted it. Sorry,
boned it in that or rigged it in that.
Yeah. So
after you.
No.
Someone needs the conch shell of being allowed to speak.
Okay, I'll carry on then. So we deleted the bones that was available from the original purchase. We just piped it through Mixamo, and here we are. As easy as that. It's literally working. Now, probably this would look a little bit more impressive if we used it with a video. So I'm going to find yet another handsome fella, or the previous handsome fella. And I'm going to plug it up, and you're going to see that this is reacting directly with a full body when you're moving around, when you're doing things. So I'm going to switch a little bit to the side, and I'm going to show you how it looks on the side. Of course, depending on the camera position, that's another thing to keep in mind. The height of the camera, there might be a little bit of a lean, so just be aware of that and position it to your best abilities, options, so and so. So why is this exciting, for instance? As you see, we're not only emitting a 3D, we're not only showing 3D body, but the 3D body is actually working in 3D space. It's not that we just see a flat picture of 3D. This right here can become completely interactive. Imagine if we set up something like hot boxes where the hands are going forward. All of a sudden, those spots can be triggers. Spots on the sides, on the top, on the front. Things with the legs, so on and so forward. There's just so many ways to make this into a very cool interactive experience. And with that said, maybe we can open another sample, a little bit more complex one. What do you gentlemen think?
Yeah, are we going to? Do you want to open up one of the interactive ones?
Unless there are some questions about rigging or similar, we should address that with a simple one. Then we can move on to a little bit more elaborate one as a showcase. So, is there anything worth bringing up?
One person was asking about how to up the rig, but that's more to do with basically just setting it up the same way Mixamo does. That are the best results. Mixamo has a really good way of presenting their skeletons. I don't remember exactly what that setup is, but if you look into how Mixamo does it, you'll see the best way to do it. And another person asked about. Oh, sorry, go on, Will.
I was going to say it's definitely the best rig that we've got to work so far. It works really well out the block. I think it's got 56 bones or something. It works perfectly with what we need.
We tested with all the options that Mixamo provides, because they allow you to choose anything from 25 bones, which is no fingers, just palms, to full fingers, as you see here. It works on all occasions, basically. Maybe it's worth to mention now let's say attaching things to the scene, or making sure that there's a trigger. So there's two ways you can go about it. Previously, you would always connect a 3D object, a null, image plane, you name it, directly to the bone structure. So let's say I have this hand here, and I can attach a 3D object. This approach is still absolutely valid, but if for some reason you want to have a different type of rig, and there might be instances, you can literally attach things directly to the NVIDIA AR body tracker. So as you see, there's different things you can choose from the skeleton. So spine, left up leg, well, anything you have on the skeleton will show up here as a point of entry in the list. Yeah, rightly said. I think Bent is Mr. Restream. So there is no standard, unfortunately, when it comes to rigging. So it just seems that Mixamo has the most, I would say, not standard, but most simple one, where they have a spine as a start point, or hips as a start point, and they go from there, and it's recognized by all the major 3D packages out there. So that's why majority of our tests is usually done with that. Of course, we venture out and try different ones, but bearing in mind how many packages there are and different workflows there are, it's a little bit hard to test out all across the board.
Yeah, rigging is a very custom thing. You don't really see the exact same skeleton being used on multiple things unless it's being done very bespoke. So you can try loads of skeletons, but I always think it's best just to go through Mixamo or look at that standard and follow that.
Yeah, well, that's literally what we've done. We've gone through loads of stuff. We've downloaded loads of rigs and stuff, and the Mixamo just seems to be a good standard to go for. So you can buy any rig, any sort of mesh, and then get rid of all the bones, take the actual mesh into Mixamo. It's so easy to set up. You can set it up within a minute, less than that.
I feel like I should give a shout that we have a very nice crowd going on in our chat section today, because we have quite a few people who are known in the industry. I see Lewis, I see Mouth Media, even Matt, our one of our founders and main developer, is actually around. So should you want to say hello or something, feel free to do that in a chat. Game changer, boys. Yes, we're so happy about this. You cannot believe when I personally got my hands on this and I tried it out, I genuinely didn't sleep that night. My wife wasn't happy, but I surely enjoyed all the coffees that I drank that night. Actually, I really missed stale coffee in a production or in an arena. I so look forward to come back to the touring thing. It's just going to be fantastic. With these new toys, it's going to be great.
Yeah, definitely.
So, as mentioned before, we're checking a very simple template. This is just something for you to grab, re-rig, test out, and go further. However, there's a bit more elaborate sample. So instead of you waiting for me to turn this off and load the other one on, I think we can watch a release video that actually, well, highlights all these things we're talking about now in a little bit more elaborate manner, where we talk about a couple of things more elaborately, I guess. I'll just stop. I digress. I'll just turn it on.
Hello, my name is Armin. I'm a visual artist and the lead trainer at Notch. NVIDIA has just announced a new update to their broadcast engine, which now features GPU-powered, AI-driven 3D skeletal body tracking and video background removal, running on a tensor cores of the NVIDIA RTX GPUs. Notch is a first partner to integrate body tracking, and we've released a new update to Notch Builder 923 today, which includes these features along with the usual round of fixes and updates. So let's have a look at the new features. First up, Body Tracker. The body tracker allows a full human body to be tracked in 3D in real time using just a regular live camera input. No special hardware is required. In Notch, we can take that skeletal data and target it to a motion capture rig to control an animation of a 3D mesh. In this video, you can see both the new body tracking as well as the face tracking working together in real time. When we integrated the new features, we were impressed with just how good the tracking was. I'm wearing dark clothes, not much contrast between me and the background, and this works great. For Notch users, this is exciting. It could make an interactive project much easier to set up with just a regular camera. Or on stage show, you could use 3D avatars without a need of a tracking suit. We've tested this feature for virtual production and it has huge potential. Being able to track people in 3D using just a camera that is already filming them is a big deal. For example, it could be used to create shadows from talent on the LED floor, which has been a big problem for Believable XR up to now. Have a look at the body tracker in use with an interactive example. This file is in the samples directory in Notch. There's also a template for a basic skeleton setup with the body tracker. The other new feature we've added is NVIDIA's virtual background. Being able to create video processing effects that can separate people from backgrounds has been a much requested feature ever since live cameras started being used on stage. And finally, this is possible. Virtual background also runs on the tensor cores of the NVIDIA RTX GPUs and uses AI to work out a mask for the subject in real time. Let me show you how to set it up in Notch. It's rather fast and easy process. All you have to do is grab NVIDIA background remover from the node list and apply it on your scene. As soon as you attach it to a video processing node, you get a black and white mask, which you can apply as an alpha image for your IMAX setup. There we are. Of course, this was developed mainly for webcams, video calls, and streamers, where it works great. High resolution, fast, and accurate. It handles difficult conditions well, like dark cloth on dark backgrounds. But we thought we'd see how it did on a range of live stage camera footage, and it works. There's a great potential for use with live IMAX. Here's the background removal applied on this piece of stock footage.
We're excited to see what you will come up with using this new technology. Grab the new update on our website now and create responsibly. Right, with that said, Ryan should probably post a link to our downloads page. And I don't see Ryan. Ryan, are you hiding? What's going on with you, mate?
He is there.
He is there. Let's see if we can bring him back.
He is there.
I shall double check if we can make sure that we have Ryan in.
I think we have Ryan.
There we go. There's Ryan.
Having a few
There's
technical
Ryan.
problems.
I wouldn't call it technical problem. It's just an anticipated fun encounter.
We can't hear him either. So I think you have to change your microphone settings.
Yeah, Ryan, what happened with your microphone settings? Good friend. Do double check your mic sets, please.
Actually, I quite like him like this.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Oh, he's back.
He's back. Oh no.
I mean, yay.
Okay,
I know you. I can see from your faces that you were worried, so don't worry about it.
Oh, we're really
gentlemen, focus. I'll just remind that we have our founder with us, and to be honest, there was a question about the t-shirts, and rightly pointed out that these are not for sale, but they are definitely available on the personal encounters and trade shows and all the other places that Notch team meets users. So hopefully, as we start to travel again, there will be more of these t-shirts in various designs spreading out. This right here was actually designed by Matt, and I saw that Control Chaos had an amazing idea for Children of the Null. We need this as a hoodie. We definitely need this as a hoodie. So, here we are, the more complex scene, interactive thing. I don't think we should spend too much time talking about how this is rigged up. For people who are actually interested in nitty-gritty, you can just open it up, go through the whole thing, but this is literally what I've spoken of when we were checking the simple example. You can have a collision with the body, you can have a avoidance collision, you can have hot boxes. It's literally just how you would use Kinect body tracker, I presume.
Yeah.
One thing I will mention, if I didn't still, this is applicable for one body. If you have a crowd behind your model, it's gonna be a little bit complicated. So just make sure about that.
I'm sure there'll be an update at some point, hopefully.
Yep.
You can take on multiple people. But this is great. I love this as well.
I mean,
the only reason we got the guy in there is just to show you that he's actually moving his stuff at the same rate Armin is in the video.
Actually, in a perfect world or in a real world application, let's see if I can navigate now to this 3D fella. You wouldn't show the body anyways. You would just show the interactivity that it presents. Imagine interactive setting in a lobby or in a trade show or whatnot. You don't necessarily need to show the body. This is just for the demo purposes, basically.
Yeah,
there we go.
It's a great application. It's really good. We've done quite a few of these and setting up. So
the combo of both of these technologies, and even Face Tracker, like all of those new great things that NVIDIA is bringing on the table, I really hope to see a lot of things in the streaming world. I was thinking a bit about that. So you have all these gamers that are playing character-based games where you are a specific character throughout the whole span of the game. So usually you would have a feed of that gamer on the side where he shows himself, he interacts with his crowd, and he plays the game. So imagine if that gamer actually has some equipment on him from his character, may it be the armor, may it be the ears or the glasses. It makes the experience of watching a gamer play much more immersive. And bearing in mind that esports is probably one of the biggest sports now, especially in the times where we cannot congregate in big numbers to watch football games or any other sport, team sport that requires a huge amount of people in one place. This is becoming bigger and bigger. So I presume that there will be an application for these technologies right there. And it's up to you, Notch community, to make that connection, to make that nice design that would be interesting and applicable.
I'm actually thinking you could probably replace the person with a full body avatar as well. They could just be their own game character. There's no reason for it.
Yeah, I mean,
that'd be quite cool.
Well, we've seen, if you go to Notch Showcase, you will see that there's quite a few esports gaming events already featured there. So I just see this as a big feature. What's going on?
Sorry, I think Matt wants to replace you with an avatar of yourself.
I shall hold off my comments. I'll just say you will regret it, Matt.
Oh, we're making threats on live streams now. This is going to go well.
Yeah, likely I'm going to lose internet right now because it's going to hack into my system. Anyways, with that said, I would like to address some questions if there's any, because again, rigging of these new features is painfully simple. You just grab a node and you either connect a bone structure to it, or you connect it as a mask if you're using background remover. So it would be nice to spend a couple of minutes just talking with you, dear ladies and gentlemen, about things that might be interesting for you. It's not an explored space, basically. The applications is still sort of being figured out. We just shot some ideas around because this is where our minds race to. However, I'm sure that when you start to use this, you're gonna apply it in some different ways and manners that we didn't anticipate it. And to be honest, when I check Instagram feed, what gets me most excited is when I don't understand what's going on. I just see hashtag made with Notch, and then I'm left there for half an hour figuring out how it's done. Then I call Ryan, then Ryan kind of explains, then we have a bit of a banter, then we disagree, and we ask someone else in the development team. This is the exciting moment, because creative uses usually is the holy grail of innovation. So, any questions, any comments that needs addressing?
There was one comment. I don't know if you spoke on it, but it's what about depth? What happens if the subject is moving back and forwards in the scene?
We tested that. It works, obviously, to a certain extent. If you leave the screen space, let's say if I was to walk out and you would lose the head and the legs, it would just literally stop tracking because it wouldn't be enough data. However, there's this grace period. It still tracks quite a lot. So that's something for you to test out. Many things depend on the lighting, obviously, and many things depends on the quality of the picture. In this case, what we see here is an HD footage. If you go in a professional studio and if you go with 4K, you can expect quite more precise tracking. With that said, if we are talking about professional studios, this right here is a great tool for XR applications too. How many times there was an issue where you need a shadow to be dropped from a person, or you need a person to interact with some kind of a AR-based elements where, let's say, there's a hand swipe and some charts appears or something opens. Well, this right here could be the very much the answer for all these things. And some of our friends already made a couple of tests around this concept, and we got some very positive feedback. However, since we don't really own an XR stage of our own, and we all work from home these days, our own testing abilities is a little bit more limited. However, there's a huge potential. I'm sure maybe Ryan and Will can elaborate on this a little bit more.
Yeah, I was going to say, actually, depth is handled. Matt's saying that on the stream as well. Depth is handled quite well, so you can actually walk away from the camera and it will go back into the scene as well. So we do get a little bit of that. I don't know how. It's good.
I'm just going to quickly remind you that if you need to adjust the positioning of the skeleton, there are a couple of places you should keep an eye on. So first of all, Body Tracker has a reference FOVs available for you. So you can adjust there, and you can actually adjust the smoothing and skeleton scale in the actual NVAR node as well. Now, smoothing is extremely handy if you see that things are a bit jittery. They're jittery in my case because, well, I'm just using a signal that is not optimal. It's not the best lit up scene, or it's not the best lit up room, I might say, because I'm actually in my home studio here. It still proves the point that it actually works and works well. So if you want more smoothness, you go straight to the NVAR node, then you can address and fix that. Same with the mirroring or flipping Z. Sometimes that's a necessity, sometimes that's a thing you need to address. Those options are there as well. Right? I see.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I'm just typing away.
So Gerardo is saying that it was built assuming a static camera. On movement it will work, but it will lose tracking quality. I have good news for you, Gerardo. It actually was considered, was assumed as a static camera, but it definitely works when you're moving around. Obviously, as you mentioned, it's not as perfect as when talent is static, but it definitely works.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
so you can do like XR sort of camera scenes. There is a workflow that's in the manual. We're not going to demo it here because we don't have a XR camera to do that. But if we did, we'd love to.
So before I do one more round of requests, if there's any questions, I'm going to just again mention that we have Gerardo from NVIDIA with us. We have Matt from our development team, and we have Will and Ryan with us. Before we come back to another round of questions, should there be any, I will ask Ryan to drop a link to our download page where our newest patch release is available. And I'm just gonna reiterate that you need latest SDKs from NVIDIA, and at the current moment, today, the best place to find them is in our manual page. I'm sure that in less than a week, you will be able to go to NVIDIA's homepage for specifically these SDKs, and you'll find it there. But while they're sorting their infrastructure during today and tomorrow, this is where you can grab it now if you want to test it. And I would strongly encourage you to test it. I would say that installing Notch and installing these SDKs will take you 2 minutes. Loading up Notch and loading up a sample, another minute. So in 3 minutes, you can be running and asking questions if you have any.
Yep.
Yep.
Very straightforward.
Yeah, and the best outcome for me after this stream, because again, I feel that this is kind of more of a conversation thing, because we're still exploring the applications for this, is to see more stuff online. So if you're an Instagram user, if you're a Twitter user, if you're on LinkedIn, post something, tag us, let us see you so we can show you to the rest of the world, because we are very keen to reshare things. And the initial feedback from people was very supportive. Everybody was excited, and everybody said, oh, I want to test it out, I want to go for it. Well, go for it. Show us what you got. Show us what you got.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's always nice going on Instagram and just seeing all the creative stuff that people are doing. It's maddening. Some stuff I see come by and I'm like, how did they do that?
Exactly.
My job is to know how people do these things. I don't know how they did it. It's maddening.
On the note, if you have questions after this stream and you didn't have a chance to ask them, or you're watching a recording of this, do visit our forums. We have a vast pool of knowledge there, and the whole team is actually moderating it daily. So let's say Ryan, we are all there checking out questions coming in, checking out different things that people are discussing, and trying to chip in with our 2 cents as best as we can. So that's a good place to hang out. Maybe Ryan can drop a link to that as well.
Yeah, sure. Let me just navigate.
All right, so we didn't anticipate to disturb you for more than an hour today because, again, it's very easy use case to start with this. However, this will get more and more complex as you start to apply it to your interesting scenes. And I'm sure that we're going to revisit the whole NVIDIA SDK integration as a stream at some point again, where we're going to talk about more elaborate specific setups. But today was just an introduction and a hello, and this is what's happening. This is what new toys we can offer for you. So is there anything else here as a question?
I think the most important piece of information actually is that apparently the NVIDIA does work with at least controlled chaos cats. With cats. At least one.
Fantastic.
At least his cat.
We need proof. All right, well.
We do need... Well, that's true, actually. I shouldn't be regurgitating things I read on the internet.
I think we should get Armin in a cat suit at some point to test it.
I did end up losing a vicious battle of Mario Kart, and I did wear Mario's suit. I don't think I need a cat suit.
I mean, I would only give one asterisk there. You didn't lose a battle. You lost quite a few.
Have you got a link to that footage?
I lost a battle.
Shit, that's the point. Damn it.
I'm gonna try to open the background remover, and let's just... Should we grab a cat? Should we finish this off with an actual cat? I don't know if we can get Control Chaos's cat, but surely can get the cat.
I don't want to get my cat. I'm pretty sure my cat will start clawing me to death.
If this cat goes through, this will be just insane. Cat indeed works. There we go.
Well,
brought to you by
Really?
NVIDIA and Notch. Cat tracking, human tracking all around.
Fantastic.
This is amazing.
That is the whole cat as well.
I'm gonna freak out. I'm not gonna sleep tonight. I'm gonna do something with cats. This is great. Imagine
Why-
those in a cloner setup.
why were we
Cat
talking about
videos.
anything else?
I know.
Why were we talking about anything else when
We all-
this was an option?
We all agree that internet was made for cats, by cats, to share pictures of cats. This is just internet 2.0 basically now.
The dog people are getting angry.
Well, the dog people can go get a cat.
I see that
So-
Gerardo was impressed with this too, so that's nice.
Are we just going to say this works on any animal on the planet? We just
You're
haven't
going to say
tested.
that.
We just haven't tested them all.
I see
I
Matt
think
is...
That's true.
elephants are particularly good.
All right, so I think with that note, I'm going to thank on my own behalf because I was very excited to see you all because we haven't done streams for a bit now. So it's nice to be back, and I'm sure we're going to be more consistent as we move forward. It was just so much going on in the background that we needed to address and release. Now it's out there, so we're going to probably meet up more often and frequent now. So thank you for joining us. Ryan, Will?
Thank you very much for joining us.
It was great to hang out with you good people, and see you in the
It's
next
not
stream.
Christmas yet.
I know. I just wanted to.
No, not Christmas.
Catmas. It's
But
Catmas.
look at my great photo.
Oh, is that you?
I think I'm gonna